Alright then, well, welcome everyone. First you'll have to excuse all the possibly bad camera action. I'm going to be adjusting my handbrake in my Honda FRV. It's a 2.2 diesel CD TI from 2006, and it has one of these very nice little pull type handbrakes rather than the typical English style in the centre. I haven't really seen any videos on how to adjust these specifically for this car, so I thought I'd create one and show you it all straight from scratch up to finish. So basically, you can tell here how far it goes out, that's a bit loose now, so it does need tightening. So we're looking for between 5 to 7 clicks when you're doing it, so let's see what it's at now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and that's pretty much about it, but still 15 is double that than what it should be. So first of all, what we're going to do, put the car into gear, first gear, so it doesn't roll away on us or anything like that, and remove the handbrake, leave it in the off position. Then we need to go over to the passenger side of the car. Okay, so here we are on the passenger side of the car. Let me just get rid of that piece of tissue. I've just walked around the car, that's all. And we're going to push our passenger seat as far back as possible. And when you look underneath the seat, you might have your sat-nav player there, which I have pre-removed. If you don't have one, then don't worry about that. It's just 2 bolts here and 1 on the other side there. Now, what we do is we grab this piece of carpet here. You'll find it's like a little cutout, and excuse my hands and my camera work again. We're just going to fold it back and bend it under this bar here, just so it holds back while we look. And when we look inside, we'll see that has appeared. That bolt is the handbrake fine adjustment. You tighten it, it gets tighter, you loosen it, it gets looser, so on and so on there. You see I've got a bit of rust. Happy days, it's when the car was a bit wet inside, but yours shouldn't look like that. Now for this, I'm going to use a ratchet with a flexible joint at the bottom and a 10mm deep socket because of that long thread line that comes off the bolt that the bolt sits on, and just an adjustable ratchet. So what we're going to do, excuse me a second, we're going to see if I can get this in here as well. Okay, so as you can see there, just trying to, this is a lot harder one hand. You'll have to excuse me. Let's see if I can get it in there. Yeah, and there it's on. And then we just, this is why you need the flexible joint at the bottom. And we're just going to loosen that all the way. Okay, so I've just loosened that bolt about 3/4 of the way up the thread line there. That's more than enough. You don't really need to go that far. I just like to give myself some extra work when bolting it back on again afterwards. Now it's just to make sure that I don't over tighten it at the rear. So once we've done that, we then have to come out and take the back wheels off. And just bear with me, I'm sure you all know how to do that, so I'll just take off the back wheel and then we'll go through it. Alright, so now we've taken the rear wheel off and we've exposed this. What we have here is a little rubber dust cover. We need to remove that. So let's see if I can do that. while trying to do the camera a bit. Hopefully that's still pretty clear there. Basically, come in, we've got a flathead screwdriver, and we'll just try to pull it out. I've got some needle nose pliers here. Sometimes these work a bit better with it. You can see it's pulling out. And just pull. Oh, try and pull anyway. And there you have it. It just pulls out. So next, what we have to do is we have to turn this down all the way till we can see a little, it looks like a little ratchet thing. Hang on, let me just grab my torch. Alright, well, it's in there. Let's see if we can get it on the camera. It's just too dark. Basically, it's a round thing that has little spikes on it. And you can Google a picture of what they look like. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to stick this in to catch those spikes, wherever they may be now. And then we're going to undo it by pushing those spikes up. And that, we're going to undo it all. Sorry, we're going to push it down until it's tight, and we tighten it all the way, and we'll know when it's tight because then this won't turn anymore. So just bear with me. Alright, so after turning that little screw thing, so I'm pushing the spindles going upwards, you can see now that it doesn't turn freely anymore, and it's pretty much on. So now what we do is we go back to the hole in the spinny thing and we undo those the opposite way 8 clicks. Okay, so now I've just undone it by 8 clicks, although be warned, it doesn't actually click, you just have to use your imagination. So now it just moves freely, as you can see there. So all happy days. That noise you're hearing is just the pads on the actual disc on the thingy just dragging a little bit, but that's fine, they will pull off once we get moving. So now we close this up, put the dust cover back on, wheel back on, and do the same on the other side. Okay, so back wheels are back on. My dirty car. And now it's back down to under the passenger seat where we undid the nut before. And where did I put my torch? Alright, so back wheels back on, torch found, and under the seat, passenger seat, to tighten up that nut again. Now we're going to tighten it up until we feel decent pressure. Remember, don't tighten it all the way, because even once you start to feel pressure, you can keep tightening it basically until it can't go anymore. Then that will be far too tight. So just tighten it until you start feeling pressure, and then we'll come back to it. So just bear with me a second. Right, so now I've been tightening up. It was very loose, you know, just rolling around. Now we've got to the point where when you try to push it down, you need a bit of pressure to turn it. So that's where we're going to stop for the moment. Just going to leave that there like that. And it's a great thing about the FRV, isn't it? You can just walk straight down the middle of the car. So what we're going to do now is, I'm getting a bit old for this. We're going to pull this out to see where the tension is and to see if it's stuck between the 5 and 7 clicks. So let's count those clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 7. That's about all I can do manually. So that's nice and tight. One way to really check it is take it out of gear, and let's see here, a foot on the brake, take the handbrake off, and we can see we are rolling. See, rolling. Let's put the handbrake back on, and it stops. Let's just check that one more time, see how far the handbrake comes up. One, there we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's perfect. They normally say between 5 and 7. 6 is basically spot on. So my wife will probably get 5 clicks, but that's fine. and take our foot off the brake and the car's not rolling. So that's perfect on the adjustment side. Now all we have to do is wrap it all up. So for under the seat, sorry, you have to, I'm so sorry about my camera action, I'm not a professional. So for under the seat where we were before, we're just going to take this out. I'm going to wobble it out anyway. Okay, so it came off on two parts. I'm just going to go in there, grab that part and just slide it off. And that's why it's important to have basically what I used here. So I have the ratchet, the long extension arm for it, a 10 millimeter deep socket, because you're going to need that because of the hose, and the flex bend, just because as you go in it's going to have to bend upwards a little bit just to get it on there, and this will save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle. So all that back in, carpet pushed down, and replace the GPS unit if you had one. I have one. It basically looks like this. If you don't have one and you don't know what I'm talking about, it basically looks like a CD player that bolts underneath the seat. If you don't have one, don't worry about it, honestly. Not really worth its hassle. If you do have one, remember to plug it all back in again. And that's it. If you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to leave in the comments. Otherwise, I will be making some other videos coming up soon for the FRV, like an oil and fuel filter change, and some other bits and bobs that I'm planning to do, including sorting out this upholstery here. You can see here the materials coming away from the door. The car is, 14 years old, bless it. So I will be sorting that out in the coming days once the parts arrive. Thank you.